Hello, everybody. It's Daniel here, and welcome to Emotional English Podcast, the podcast where we learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. Welcome, everybody. Today, I want to speak with you about the new topic about how to become a more interesting person. It's our second discussion about this topic, and today we'll discuss the next part about expanding our horizons. So if you're interested in our podcast learning, and if you want to see our upcoming events in Moscow in September, so just check out my podcast website. It's www.emotionalenglish.ru and reserve your seat now. So, and if you're interested in my English lessons, just go to my website, danilabondarenko.ru, and reserve your tryout lesson. And now we're coming back to our topic for today. So we have a beautiful, amazing discussion about expanding our horizons. What does it mean to expand your horizons? We all have our interests, right? We all have our zones of interests. And to make it bigger, you are expanding your zone. Expanding means makes bigger, right? And many people can expand your horizons as a distance, as far you can go, right? So that's the horizons or the things you can see, right? You can see deeper or further if you have expanded your vision, right? So horizons are only inside of our mind. They're just, we are ourselves, limit ourselves, and we should expand our horizons day by day. We need to learn more, learn new vocabulary if we talk about English, try out new sports or new activities, and that will make us a better people, more interesting people, right? And some more recommendations from the author. So we have 4 general ideas here. No, I'm mistaking here. Five general ideas. And I'll go step by step. I will read each idea and then I will comment and give my own thought on it. And then we'll discuss some new vocab. I will comment each sentence and it will be more understandable, I hope. So let's begin, shall we? So we have the first recommendation here, how to become a more interesting person by expanding our horizons. We should try out new activities to stretch your comfort zone. Okay, so what does it mean, try out new activities? It means to go and try something new. That's called try out. When you do something for the first time, so this is try out training, right? If you go basketball and you do some basketball training. So this is the tryout training, and that's a new activity. So next, you can stretch your comfort zone. People say that the comfort zone, it's the zone when you feel very comfortable. But when you stretching your comfort zone, you feel not that comfortable, right? So it's a little bit awkward. So the word awkward means you feel not very good, right? You don't feel comfy this moment. And it's awkward to start a conversation with a random person on the street. It's awkward to discuss a topic which is not that, let's say, not that popular. For example, I love philosophy. I do love philosophical knowledges, and I love different philosophers, ideas. And not all of my, let's say, friends do love these topics. And then I'll just keep these topics inside. But just to start and try out for this little conversation, why not? That's always a good idea, right? And I do this as often as I can. So what this recommendation is all about? It's pretty self-descriptive here, right? So the experiment with new activities that might interest you, definitely a good idea. So we should experiment with new activities. when you stretch your comfort zone, you get yourself out of rut. Very good phrase. So when we stretch our comfort zone, we get ourselves out of the rut. Out of the rut, it's like out of the banal lifestyle, out of the comfort zone, out of the routine. It's very comfortable to live your normal life, but when you try something new, when you're stretching your comfort zone, you're going out of a rut. Okay, so it's an idiomatic phrase, out of the rut. Go out of your rut or get out of your rut. You should run away from your comfort zone and improve yourself step by step, right? So you inject more excitement into your life. You meet new people and be open to trying new activities so that you learn to be a little more fearless. Yeah, that's a good recommendation. So when you are open to try something new activities, you kind of learning the skill to be a little bit more fearless. Fearless means no fear. So the ending of the word, like less, it's always about something, absence of something, right? Fearless, it means no fear. Noiseless, it means no noise. Countless hours, for example, it means you cannot count this. It's so many hours passed and countless hours. I've been sleeping countless hours. It means without counting, maybe 12 hours, 13, 16, 17, 20 hours of sleeping. So countless hours, right? A lot. So, yeah, it's a good recommendation, right? To stretch our comfort zone. They recommend us here to try volunteering at a nonprofit organization or learning a new sport or hobby. So they say here, pick something that you have very little experience with and go for it. Yeah, and I do volunteer, and it's definitely a good idea of improving yourself by this method. So I am the volunteer of a Sheridar camp. It's the camp for kids who were sick with the cancer disease, and they got a remission. And we help, and all our other volunteers, our team, we help these kids to get well and to recover. So it's like a rehab program. So if you'd love to try it, just send me a message. I will send you the website. Classically, you just Google it, Sheridar. That's a beautiful opportunity for everyone to help and to improve yourself. So volunteering at a nonprofit organization. So true. As I recommended you my organization when I do volunteer. So highly recommend you to do the same. Find yourself a good organization. That was the first recommendation, right? Second one is it's recommended here that we should build the personality traits by trying out concrete activities. And maybe this is a little bit, not understandable here. What we should build, personality traits. What is trait? It's like a quality, right? So when you see the word trait, personality trait, it's a personality quality, and you can build your personality quality or like characteristic, which belongs to you, by trying out concrete, specific activity, right? For example, you want to improve your skill of running. So where should you go? You should try on your own first, and then maybe you can find a running club, and run together with these people. It's more effective, it's better, and it's more fun. So that's one of the examples. Let's see what this website is telling us here. Your goal to become more interesting might involve becoming more courageous or being friendlier. Yeah. So when you have a goal is something you want so much, and you want to become more interesting person. You remember that goal, right? It might evolve. It should go, actually. Might, it's like more powerful word than may. When you say maybe, it's about 50% chance that something going to happen. But might be, might involve, might happen. The chances are very high. It's about 80, probably 90%, right? It's pretty big chance that something gonna happen. So, and your interest might involve becoming more courageous or being friendlier. So, what does it mean? Involve. Involve. It means it's kind of going and kind of getting closer to an idea of being courageous and being a friendlier person. So you're just becoming more friendlier and more courageous. Courageous, what is courage is, right? Courage is like a lion. So bravery or courage, that's very similar thing. So when you're not scared of pain or danger, so that's a very courageous thing. But it's difficult to achieve these traits, these characteristics, right? Unless you have a specific plan in place. So if you have no plan to improve yourself, so that's very, very hard to achieve, right? So try out concrete activities or skills. It means specific activities. We should try out concrete, specific activities or skills instead of focusing on building one of our personality trait. So we kind of shouldn't, let's try again. So try out concrete activities or skills instead of focusing on building one of your personality traits. So yeah, we should concentrate more on, let's say, active skills, not your personal, let's say, mental things, but it better to improve your physical ability. For example, if you like bike riding, it's better to bike ride more and more and become maybe close to professional level or becoming a fan of this activity, because that will create an alternative idea inside of your mind, and you will have a better connection with people by sharing your knowledge, your skill, your activity with somebody else, with your friends, right? It's good to share something you have than to share nothing, right? And if you have a banal lifestyle like watching YouTube, watching series, just consuming content, it's nothing because people do the same and it's not interesting. But if you want to become more interesting person, you should do something physically, something hard, expand your personality trait, and try out something concrete. So concrete is a specific activity related to the skill, maybe physical skill. They give us here one more example. For example, instead of convincing yourself, convincing means just saying many, many words to yourself and asking to do something. You need to be more courageous. You might try simply participating in an activity that produces some degree of fear when you think about it. Or you could try rock climbing if you're afraid of heights, or visit a petting zoo if you're afraid of animals. By pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, you might eventually become more comfortable with participating in activities you or others might find interesting. Yeah, so I agree with this statement for sure. So if you have something hard, it means your comfort zone is not there. So it's your discomfort zone. And as more you're trying out and experiencing these hard moments, it's becoming your comfort zone. That's quite nice experience. And as bigger your comfort zone is, as more interesting you become, right? So let's see the next third tip here, third recommendation. They simply recommend to meet new people. So banal and so good, I would say. Meet new people. When you expand your network of acquaintances, right? Acquaintance, right? Of course, I'm double checking the pronunciation for you guys. Acquaintances, it's like the zones of your experience, right? If you have the zone of interest, it's the network of your acquaintances, right? If you have one interest, it's acquaintance. If you have many activities, many interests, so it's acquaintances, right? You can become exposed to more interesting situations and activities. Ask people questions about themselves. Yeah. So just asking people about their stories, quite attracting, I would say. And you would see more examples, and it will be more resultative with your interest, right? Maybe someone will tell you a story. For example, oh yeah, the real story about my first trip to USA. Actually, I've got this from a guy. I had a group of acquaintance. I was a dancer in my past, and I was dancing. There's a very popular dance. I think I've never told you about that before. It was a tectonic dance, that was very popular in 2007. And then I was trying out this, and I participated many battles, dance battles, and I was pretty good at it. So we created a dancing team there, and it was quite interesting. But the point is, I met the guy who was a participant of a work and travel program to the USA, and he had lived in the US for a while, and he had worked in New York. I was so inspired and I was so motivated by his example, and I wanted to do the same. I had realized that that's what I really need. So that network of acquaintance, right, made myself a better person, because the guy had told me about the program of visiting America, and I had decided to do this. That's amazing. And this is how things work. You just meet new people, they share the stories and life experiences, and you become a better person. So ask people questions about themselves, and that's going to be very interesting. You can be intrigued. Once you get something talking, you may discover, for example, that this person has expert knowledge of beekeeping, an activity you're always wanted to try. Yeah, like you can understand that something can be very attractive about the person you speak to, and that's the next step of your evolution, right? The same happened with me when I was in this camp, right? I had visited to the camp, this camp called, it's just a philosophy camp, the place where we discuss philosophical ideas and topics. And I've met a girl there. Her name is Julia, right? And I discovered that person, and she had shared with me this idea of Sharidar camp volunteering. I was so scared of this at first, but then I had participated this event. I had participated this volunteering organization. And you know what? I've been volunteering for a whole year in this place. And I'm so happy that I had met that person, and she had shared with me these beautiful, amazing ideas of giving kindness, and things which you have, right? So for me, it is very big. It's amazing. So that's what I wanted to say. Meet new people, guys. Then the example or recommendation number 4, we should travel as much as possible. And, I think it's true, because the question is why people do not travel. It's a good question, because I think the reason number 1, people don't have enough money. Reason number 2, people just scared. They have a very limited comfort zone, and their horizons are very small, I would say, right? So these horizons are not wide, not big. And that's why people in Russia, they don't travel much. And I remember myself when I was 17, I wanted to travel to US. And for me, it was that kind of step in life when I could improve myself and become someone big and, to become a man, right? Because I had lived with parents for many, many years, and then I had decided to travel and put my ass into a discomfort zone. and made my own money, that was a pretty big step for me, right? So travel as much as possible. That's a recommendation they give us here. And I agree with that completely. Let's see what they say here. Seeing more of the world can make you more attuned, right? Attuned to subtle differences between people from different backgrounds or different ethnicities. Okay, that's a pretty neat sentence, I would say, right? Let's see it clearly. Seeing more of the world can make you more attuned to subtle differences between people. I will explain you this. So when you're trying to attune something, you're kind of connecting and becoming one with the topic you discuss. For example, if I love apples, I'm attuning with the subjects and I'm becoming an apple. I speak like an apple. I do things like an apple. So I'm so juicy. I'm trying to be an apple. So I'm attuning, right? So attuning, it means becoming a part of something, right? It's a big awareness. It's a super concentration. That's attuning. So, and when you're attuned to subtle differences between people, it means you can define, you can see this very small and deep understanding what different people have inside, right? These subtle differences, it's these little steps or little things which people have inside, and they're different between each other. That's what you can see because you're attuned. When you're attuned, you're super concentrated. You are like an apple alike. And you can understand very deep things like why the apple has seeds. You can understand that because you're so attuned, you're so aware of it, and you can define and see these subtle differences, very almost unseeable differences. But you can see these, right? They're so little, but you can analyze and see these little details because you are attuned. Because you're super concentrated, and you can see these differences, these subtle differences between people from different backgrounds or different ethnicities, right? For example, we all have different ethnic group, right? I am Russian, but I do know many people who are American, German Americans, right, or Polish Americans, and so it's all related to the culture. And if I want to understand the person deeply, I should be attuned and I should listen to that person. Because if I attuned, I can subtle difference between my life and the life of that person. Does it make any sense? I hope yes. So being sensitive, that's actually what it is, right? Being attuned, it means to be super sensitive, right? Being sensitive to how these differences affect others and yourself can sometimes make people feel more comfortable around you. And it's true. When you're attuned to these little details, to little facts about people's life, and people see that you're listening, people see that you're using their language, they're so happy. And you will create a unique connection with these people. And that's so great. That's why you should travel as much as possible to see, to expand, to see life in different forms, right? For example, if you see an apple in Russia, just go and try GMO apple in America because it's another great experience. And maybe you will go to Whole Foods store and you will buy a natural apple for, let's say, $5 a pound, right? Extremely expensive apples, but they're saying that it's pretty natural. And yeah, you can choose GMO or non-GMO because you do travel, you see different types of food. It's not from your granny background, all right, granny lawn. It's not from there. It's from different, let's say, fields where people use GMO products and GMO seeds. Yeah. Okay, today's topic is not about GMO, so let's discuss more deeply about our horizons. They give us here a couple more comments, and I'd love to share it with you. This will also give you a greater sense of what interests you can look like in different parts of the world. And yeah, so it gives you greater sense. It means you feel better of what interest you can look like in different parts of the world. You understand life differently. So that's why I love philosophy, because when I learn philosophy, I'm not just reading a Bible or Quran or let's say Bhagavad Gita, right, or another book with a religious knowledge. I'd love to read many books to be a philosopher of life, because I can understand much more people if I do read Kamapada, the life of Buddha, or whatever book is important in every culture. I can understand these unique ethnicities, right? And I can see this subtle difference between one religion to another, and I just can feel it. This is a greater sense which you're gaining while you're traveling, while you are learning new things. Make your next holiday an unusual one. Go to an exotic place and do things you would not normally do. This might include an activity such as backpacking, surfing, climbing a mountain, or going on a jungle safari. Okay, we don't have safari in Russia, but for sure I can go to my Psekups River, because I don't do it very often, because I work a lot and I do work a lot. Yeah. Or I love to watch a series or something else. I'm a home sitter, to be honest, and I'm looking for a wife. By the way, I'm still looking for a wife. I'm looking for a wife who is more like a home sitter than a traveler, because I do love to travel, but simultaneously, I love to sit at home and feel the vibe, drink a beautiful warming drink, and just watch a nice old style TV show, with understanding that life is not only somewhere. Sometimes it's just here and now, with the history, with the experience I had experienced already, and it's beautiful. I just love these moments. It's very cozy. So yeah, not talking my relationship status. Let's go to the next final recommendation here. We have the recommendation to read more. Pretty simple. Just read more. And I do respect this. And right now I'm reading one of my favorite books. It's a Plato book about the government, like the perfection, the idea of the government, how to create the best government ever. And I highly recommend this book to everyone, but it's not that simple to understand. But if you're a philosopher, you would find it very interesting. So read books about fun topics such as how to make unique cocktails, exotic places to travel, or how to become a great lover. These topics will give you lots of material for riveting conversations. Yep. So what is riveting, you can ask, right? Riveting, it means interesting and just something amazing for interesting conversations with somebody else, right? Riveting explains that, right? Something which exaggerates you or some power inside of you, right? And makes it more energyful. So that's the case. Yeah. So just read more, guys. And, reading is a big topic, because I don't read a lot of books, like a lot of areas. I do love philosophy. I love some productivity books, and some books about life stories, like Chicken Soup for the Soul, something like this kind of book. I love to read. And just books which makes your life better, right? More practicality, I would say. I prefer more practicality in life. And let's see a couple more statements here. Make sure to read about lots of different topics in order to gain knowledge about many varying subjects, right? Yeah, varying subject means many different subjects. As more subjects you explore, as better speaker you become, right? So I try to read different subjects, but my priority for now is philosophy. And that's just what I love, because philosophy is the key segment of my life. And I try to think and I try to live my life with joy of knowledge, right? And philosophy provides me this kind of cool vibe. Diverse general knowledge will make you seem more dynamic and interesting. Yeah. And many people find myself an interesting person because I do know how to explain different things differently. I do like to fight sometimes on topics I'm interested in, but I'm a listener. I try to become more a listener, less a speaker. That's my goal, actually, because I was in love with a big conversation and when I am the leader, but now I try to understand how to be a listener. It's a much more valuable skill. Not that simple to do, to be honest, but I really want to become a listener. It's not about who I am. It's about who I want to become. So that's the case. And they just say here that the readers poll, they have the poll. It's like the questionnaire here on the website. And they asked 471 readers, and 52% of them said that the best way to expand the knowledge is by reading books and articles on the subject. Okay, that's all. So we just discussed with you guys 5 beautiful ways how to expand your horizons. And the number 1 was to try out new activities to stretch your comfort zone. Second was to build your own personality traits by trying out concrete activities. Third one was to meet new people. Fourth one was to travel as much as possible. And the fifth one was to read more. And I hope you guys love that discussion. And if you like this podcast, please like it, subscribe on it, share it with your friends. And let's learn English even more effectively all together. I do have a Telegram channel, but I don't have a lot of activity there yet. But if you're interested, if you want to see our events coming, so just go there and check out our latest updates for an offline meetings, right? We do have some in Moscow. And come to our closest event. So let's stay in touch and have an amazing day. I'll stay on the line and have an amazing, beautiful English learning experience. Have a good one, and I see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.